Landi, and welcome back to Entrepreneurcast.
Thank you, Svietlana. It's always good to be here.
It's great to have you back. So, Landi, today we are covering the masterminds.
Right.
And the masterminds are a huge topic. And, Napoleon Hill was talking about that. But still, until today, we have so many people who have no idea what masterminds are, have no idea how effective they are, they have no idea how to structure them, and who should they mastermind with, and why should they do that. So let's talk about masterminding.
Let's talk about masterminds. Svietlana, it's a really, really exciting topic. We are very much involved as a company in the moment in masterminds, and we are loving every single moment of it. And when I say we're involved, we run quite a few masterminds in different countries. At the moment, we're on what we call our Business Boost Mastermind Tour. And let's just first take a few steps back and enlighten our listeners. So if you listen to this and you go, if one more person says the word mastermind again, I'm going to blow because I don't know what is a mastermind. So a mastermind is a small group of like-minded people sitting together and solving very specific problems. So I'm going to give you an example. You can put a mastermind together. Let's say you're a bunch of CEOs. All of you are a CEO. You all run a company. Who do you really go to? You can employ a mentor, but the mentor is not necessarily a CEO, him or herself. You can read books. You can't necessarily always talk to your executive because they're not CEOs. You can't always talk to your staff because they don't understand your challenges. So it would be a natural thing for CEOs to sit around a table or in a room or even go online via webinar and have critical discussions about what it means to be a CEO, what is the daily challenges associated to be a CEO, what's the latest software and solutions for CEOs, what are the service providers that we all prefer using because it's going to save us money, how do we manage team, blah, blah, blah. And then a mastermind forms. And that's where the word mastermind probably comes from. They're all masters in an area and they get together and have these type of discussions. It is normally led by a person who is also a like-minded master, normally a level or two up from where they are. So, for example, if I'm the CEO of a Forbes 500 company, it would very much make sense for me to put a mastermind together of CEOs that's maybe a level or two below me, because that gives them a new level of mentorship. That means it's not only me giving one-on-one advice, but it's me giving people input and advice, but also giving them the opportunity to talk with like-minded people in the group and come up with really great solution. It is a fantastic movement that is taking over all over the world and people love it. Why? Because it's more of an experiential learning experience. It's not only you and the mentor, it's now you and like-minded people in a room or on a webinar. Very, very exciting times.
So you come together and create this mind together.
Absolutely, this brain. You have a lovely way of putting things. It's exactly what you do. You have this brain, the CEO brain expanding with more people in it. Let's say, the topic here is I'm a single mother and I work and I need to look for more solutions. It would make massively sense to create that brain and let them all sit together. Let's say that we're all entrepreneurs. We don't necessarily want a business incubate. We don't want to pay for shared working space. Why don't we all get together and start a mastermind? Because we're all in the IT industry, for example. So again, this brain gets formed. This master brain gets formed. And it's just so valuable. And we just enjoy it so much. And the people in our mastermind groups just enjoy it so much.
So Landi, mastermind is very important, and it's important to have the right kind of people there.
Yeah.
So how do you find those right people to have in your mastermind, and how do you reach out to them?
Well, I think, Svietlana, the first very important issue here would be to know what is the mastery or the skill that's going on here. You don't want a mastermind group with, for example, just entrepreneurs. You really want to make it specific. You want to make the conversation useful and engaging, and you want people to be able to associate with each other. So you would create a mastermind group, for example, for entrepreneurs who is, let's call them one-man bands. You know, they don't have anyone else employed yet. And they're all in the IT industry. Now you're creating a master group of people that has a few things in common here. They have entrepreneurship in common. They have all a need for team and people to help in common. And they all are in the IT industry, so they speak each other's lingo. So that would be for me the first consideration, to go and sit and look at your business and go, what mastermind will really benefit my business in terms of the products and services and solutions that I already have in place. So that would be number one. If you don't have that, you're going to struggle to attract people, because to put a message out there and say, I want entrepreneurship mastermind, people just don't get it. They don't associate with it. They go, well, I can go and buy a book on entrepreneurship, right? But if you send a message out there and you say, listen, we're getting one-man band entrepreneurs in the IT industry together to talk about the internet issues that people are experiencing, or to talk about the latest technology that we want to bring to our clients, people go, oh my word, I'm going to massively benefit from that. Not only do I have a lot of info to share with people, but I actually want to hear about the latest. I don't want to feel out. I want to be part of this group. So that is really the first important step. Once you have that, you obviously have to go and attract these people. I know I talk a lot about networking meetings. I say that because I feel there's much more value and impact for people in getting results if they go offline first before online. You know, you have to mingle with people. You have to form relationships. So go to networking meetings, spot these people, go to meetups that's industry specific. You know, if you're looking to start a mastermind on weight loss, but specifically for mothers, then go and attend events, seminars, go to Google Hangouts, go to places where these people are already gathered, and then find out, you know, what will work for them, what the mastermind looks like for them. And then number three, you know, you can make use of social media, advertise. We make a lot use of social media to fill our masterminds with. We send literally social media out on different platforms, different places. There has to be a lot of activity when it comes to event management, and masterminds are no different. So you cannot post once a week on your personal Facebook page and think you're going to fill up mastermind groups like that. You have to use potentially a platform like Eventbrite, have a proper mastermind loaded there, the way you would do with any event. Go and subscribe to Meetup, load your mastermind event on there, and then really work the social media. Make sure that there's lots of reach and lots of exposure, and that people know about what you're doing. You can use more traditional ways. You can give out pamphlets that advertise your mastermind as well. You can also, we're building a lot of lists these days via mobile numbers. So we literally do a WhatsApp broadcast, or we do an instant messaging or text out to a group of people that's already on our contact list and say our next mastermind is coming up. Alternatively, you can build masterminds that's more subscription based. So these are regular people that meet, you know, once a month or once a quarter or once a year. Svietlana, it's crazy. This model have CEOs sitting in masterminds that goes out for phenomenal prices. People pay an annual fee. Some of them will pay up to $50,000 per annum to belong to a mastermind group because it's so valuable. So there's various modules you can follow. You can fill them on tour as you go, or you can have subscription models. And when you buy the subscription, you have 4 mastermind meetings a year or 12 mastermind meetings a year. So there's different models.
And that's actually one of the questions I had for you was, what would you say was the difference between free masterminds and paid masterminds? Because a lot of people charge for them, and then you have other groups that are free of charge. So
yeah,
what would you advise to people to choose, and you know, and why?
We like to put masterminds out there, especially when we're on tour, for a small amount. And the reason why that is that we like the type of person who's willing to pay for their own personal development and growth. So really reasonable prices. I mean, you're talking about, you know, $25, you know, as a standard seat. The $25 normally cover a mastermind session of 3 hours for people, so it's really easy to attend. We prefer doing them in the morning. Sometimes they go to the afternoon session, and that's it. The point is not really to have mastermind sessions and make a profit out of people attending it. The point is more to make a profit out of what you will upsell at your mastermind. So the idea is to get people in a mastermind, get them to pay a basic level ticket, solve their problems, get them networking opportunities in their industry, address critical issues, and then if you really want to make money, upsell them during the mastermind session, during the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes. That module works incredibly well for us.
Brilliant. And what would you say, what structure should people use when they create their masterminds? Because let's say, people go out there, they gather these people together, but then they have no idea what to do around the thing.
Yeah.
So what's the structure?
I think, it's important if you're going to put a mastermind group together that you're really an expert in an area. People's not going to attend your groups or, necessarily see the value if you are not an expert, or at least if you don't know for sure, there will be experts around the table solving people's problems. Remember, mastermind is about solving people's problems, and that's why they pitch for these things. So there's 2 different ways that you can structure it. The first way would be, and this is normally when people are paying a lump sum to be part of a mastermind group for a year or for a quarter, whatever, then normally you have an agenda like you would with an event, and the agenda will literally be based on a promise that you've made to them when you sold the mastermind group to them. So you would literally have a, this is the main issues at the moment in the industry. So there may be an industry specific discussion. Then there may be some content delivery that specifically relates to them. And then there may be some networking opportunity with that as well. So that's an easy 3-way step to structure it, because people pitch there to get information. They also come there to find out what's the latest and the greatest in the industry, but they also come there for opportunity and meet other people. So that's a 3-tier way in which you can structure it. Alternatively, and to be honest with you, we prefer this model, is that you actually pitch at these mastermind sessions. You give a basic structure in your advertising that touch on some niche things, but we like to open our mastermind sessions with an absolute blank page. So we ask our mastermind attendees, what problems do you have at the moment, and what can we do to solve it for you today? We find that very valuable. That takes a little bit of the pressure off. The only way in which you're going to contradict yourself when you send out the event ad, or if you load the event on Eventbrite or eMeetup, you'll have to have some sort of agenda or structure to attract people. But ultimately, when we have many of our masterminds, and we find massive satisfaction in that, because we start with a blank page, because we're saying to the people around our table, what's your problem? We absolutely make sure that every single person who leaves there have their problem solved. That's a very powerful strategy.
Definitely. And the other thing I wanted to ask, you mentioned there that in the beginning that gather people from with the same background. So what's the difference between getting people with the same background or totally different backgrounds?
You want people to get into conversation. So, for example, if I have a CEO, let's say we have a mastermind table, there's a CEO sitting there. There is a sales and marketing executive sitting there. There is an entrepreneur who started 3 months ago sitting there. There is an entrepreneur who's been in business for 3 years and employed 10 staff sitting there. It may disconnect. So, the day-to-day issues that these people are experiencing is quite different. And that's why niching down whose problem you're solving is quite important, because you want the conversations to be constructive. If you have too many different backgrounds sitting around the mastermind table, you get into opinion mode, ego mode, and conflict mode, because everyone is trying to explain to the other one why they are right and it's better to be a CEO than a one-man band, whatever. Whereas if you have a lot of entrepreneurs around the table who's in the IT industry, they speak the same language. So you want these masterminds to be solution-based. You don't want it to be problem-based. It's very easy for people to sit around the table and moan and groan and come up with all the problems that they're experiencing, as opposed to sit around the table and say, we're all in the same industry, we're all in the same boat, if you may. Let's look at solutions. That's why if you're listening today and you're interested in starting a mastermind group, you have to have a relative strong personality, because you don't want to create chaos. I normally call it a can of worms. You don't want to open a can of worms. You want to have a mature group of people around the table that solve industry and business related problems. Or if it's not a business mastermind, personal problems or mindset issues, whatever you feel the reason for it. For you, Svietlana, for example, to start a mastermind offline of podcasters, people who podcast, would be absolutely fantastic and beneficial.
So, you know, when you start a mastermind, you're the leader of mastermind, right?
Yeah.
Do you still do some teaching and like, you know, kind of like demonstration and stuff like that? Or do you all just brainstorm together?
Well, you want to lead, you know, and people are looking for good leaders. And I think there's too many people out there who's giving out content and information and know-how, but they're not actually doing it themselves. You know, so people would most certainly, if you start a mastermind group, look for guidance, look for leadership. And you know, from your part, it might be as simple as researching the podcasting industry, bringing them the latest statistics on podcasting, sharing with them some of the latest software that works, that doesn't work. So stats, you know, bringing stats and trends to the table already will make a massive difference to your podcasters, but you almost want to go narrow it even further. You don't want to just be having podcasters around your table. You maybe want podcasters in your generation. I mean, what's your generation? Are you generation X or Y? What's your generation?
What do you mean?
What generation do you fall in?
Is it the age group or?
Your age group, yeah.
I guess 25 to 35.
Right, so 25 to 35, so you'll probably in generation X, and then you want to go and look for podcasters in your generation because you have a different approach. Or you may say, no, I'm actually going to look for podcasters who's female. Or you know what, I'm going to actually look for podcasters who do it part-time, you know, and put those people around the table because you're going to be able to give them massive solutions. And I mean, Svietlana, you've built a fantastic audience network. There is many, many, many things that podcasters would love to learn from you. You're an absolute expert in that area.
So, Landi, let's just recap and go through the bullet points of today before we end.
Right. So Masterminds is really, really valuable as a way of, you know, attracting people in your network, but ultimately solving people's problems, solving the problems of like-minded people. So that's really what a mastermind is. It can be done offline in an actual venue, or it can be done online via a webinar. That's the first important thing to know. Number two, you absolutely want to be part of this. It is powerful. It's taking shape all over the world. And if you're an expert in the area where you know you can solve a problem for people, then I would highly recommend that you start putting this mastermind group together. You put them together by using, for example, Eventbrite, or you load them on any other event platform or Meetup, or whatever is relevant in your country. And then number three, you advertise them by using lots of activity. You can use your social media. You can go offline and do posters or handouts or business cards that talks about your mastermind. And then there would be potentially two ways to charge for them. You can charge a small fee for people who come and attend them, and then upsell something after that. Or what a lot of people are doing, they're just selling the mastermind group as a product or service itself. You, for instance, have 4 or 12 that you attend for X amount per year. So go and do it. It's massively valuable because it's small and it's intimate. We don't like to do masterminds that's bigger than 10 people, because the 10 or the 8 people, sometimes even 6, allow us to solve their specific problems. And we find it very energizing because it's a little bit different from the model of we're doing events and there's massive amount of people attending and it's big, expensive, and it's a huge hoo-ha. But at the end of those big events, you leave not knowing the people intimately, whereas masterminds give you the opportunity to know people intimately. And once you know people intimately, you can honestly solve their problems for them. And that's what Masterminds is really about.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your message today, Landi. Thanks for coming back on the show. And I really look forward to our next episode.
Me too, Svietlana. Thank you. Have a lovely day.